The OWASP Top 10. The OWASP Top 10 is the de facto standard top 10 security risks which are rated across applications and how frequent they are. So let's look at what are the top 10 risks as of today. The meaning of OAPS is Open Worldwide Application Security Project. So they had like at least a yearly list, and the top 10 are changing. In 2017, the top one was injection, and today, 2021, a little bit delayed, it's the broken access control. What is the broken access control, which is the top one? Moves from fifth position. 94% of the applications were tested for some sort of broken access. So the broken access control just means that users can access resources which are outside of their of which access we should give them. For example, a user accesses example.com, and then he provides account, not my account. He provides a parameter which is not his account, and he's able to access other accounts. Let's move to the second one. The second one is cryptographic failures. Shift to position 2, also known as sensitive data exposure, which was a broad symptom rather than a root cause. Let's look at number 3, injection. 94% of the applications were tested. Injection is a long-running security risk. Basically, the example would probably be with SQL as we know it. Usually it's SQL. So we have a query, and then we concatenate some parameter, request.get parameter from the user itself. And if the user has provided, a continuation of this SQL, like the ID, the parameter that the user provided is union select sleep 10 or whatever, then this would also get executed. So this is SQL injection. The next one is security misconfiguration. Security misconfiguration is just the configuration of the application servers that we have. For example, in scenario 1, we have the application server comes with a sample application configuration which is not removed from the production server. So, we download applications, we download some code, they have some configuration, and we don't tune it to our needs. We don't remove, let's say, some default username, password, admin, or whatever they are. The next one is vulnerable and outdated components. And in the previous post that we had, we talked about dependable, which will automatically create for you pull request. So as the next vulnerability is vulnerable and outdated components, this should just be that we don't update our components. So let's see, for example, components typically run with the same privileges as the application itself. So flaws in any component can result in serious impact. And today we do have a lot of dependencies for whichever application we have. Such flaws can be accidental, codec error, or intentional. For example, CVE, struts 2, remote code execution, vulnerability. This is a little bit old post, but we see here some really state-of-the-art security risks like injection, misconfiguration. All this stays the same. I mean, tens of years can pass and we would still face the same issues, the same category of issues. It's always good to get back to the basics, and I think this is bringing us to the basics of security risks, because the pattern is repeating. The pattern is repeating. So the next one is identification and authentication failure. Was previously working on authentication and is sliding down from the second position, and now includes CVEs that are more related to identification of failures. Let's look at this guy, and for an example, so the example would be credential stuffing. The use of lists of known passwords, for example, it's part of identification and authentication failure. If we use when known passwords is a common attack. Suppose an application does not implement automated threat or credential stuffing protection. In this case, the application can be used as a password oracle to determine if the credentials are valid. So we keep bombing the application server with credentials more and more and more until we manage to break it. This is the stuffing. And the final ones are software data integrity failure, security logging monitoring failure, server-side request forgery. Okay, so this was the top 10 or OWASP top 10 security risk, which is a standard, and they have an ordering of them of which ones are the most important. As we see, these patterns keep repeating.